So we have two candidates that were unable to be here, and according to the rules that we gave them in advance, if a candidate was unable to attend, they were allowed to send a statement to be read at the beginning of the program for 2 minutes. After I finish with these two statements, then we'll hear from each of these two candidates up here, and they'll also have 2 minutes. So timers for the opening statements, 2 minutes, and I'll monitor myself for this. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and begin. Welcome, everyone. My name is Nathan Sweet. I'm a fire captain, paramedic with the Los Angeles Fire Department and a current school board member serving the Moorpark Unified School District. I apologize for being unable to attend tonight's forum due to a scheduling conflict. As a current member of the Board of Education, I'm proud of the accomplishments that the Moorpark Unified School District has achieved during my time on the school board. As a lifelong public servant, school board member, and a parent of 3 children attending the Moorpark schools, I want to continue to offer my experience, education, and energy to serve our students and families. Moorpark Unified School District student test scores continue to perform among the top school districts in Ventura County. During my time as a board member for MUSD, we have increased the high school graduation rates, increased honors and AP classes, and decreased the achievement gap for minority students. In the last few years, the MUSD has added 3 California Blue Ribbon schools, California Gold Ribbon School, an Exemplary Arts School, and the National Blue Ribbon School. We have added additional educational pathways at Moorpark High School, including manufacturing, engineering, and hospitality. 3 years ago, we brought the East County Career Technical Education Center to Moorpark in order to give our students increased access to career and technical education. Since then, the opportunities for CTE have continued to expand, offering over 20 courses in areas such as medical technology, engineering, IT, and public safety. This year, we added the new Structured Academic Success Program at Moorpark High School. This new program increases our funding and support for our most at-risk students and will allow for credit recovery earlier in a student's high school career. This program will deliver personalized credit recovery for every struggling student that will increase the success of our most at-risk students. Even with the successes of the Moorpark Unified School District during my time as a board member, there is more to accomplish. That is why I am asking for your vote for another term. Thank you. And that was the opening statement for Nathan Sweet. The other person who was unable to attend tonight is Robert Perez, and I will go ahead and read his statement. I'm a lifelong resident of Moorpark and was fortunate to attend a preschool through high school within our astounding district. My family has resided in Moorpark for over 100 years and continues to be committed to our community. In 2011, my family and I fulfilled my dream in opening Moorpark's first family-owned funeral home. In 2014, I was honored to be elected to the Moorpark Unified School District Board, which I have faithfully served the past 2 years as board president. I have served as the Moorpark City Library Board President, Chapter President for Business Networking International Alliance for Success, and board member for the Moorpark Chamber of Commerce. My most fulfilling career is raising my 4 children that currently attend schools within the Moorpark District along with my supportive wife, Colleen. Our students, teachers, parents, and administrators are vitally important in creating the best decisions for our schools, especially for our children. I will continue to make a difference working as a trustee for the Moorpark Unified School District Board. I want to continue to bring our community and schools together. I will continue to add my career and business values as an objective to the Moorpark Unified School District Board. I'm very honored to be endorsed by the entire MUSD Board, Mayor Janice Parvin, Councilman Ken Simons, and Supervisor John Zaragoza. I apologize for not being there this evening as I had a prior commitment with Back to School Night at Mesa Verde and Campus Canyon. I wish all the candidates the best of luck this evening. Please feel free to reach out anytime should you have any questions or concerns. And that was the statement of Robert Perez. We will now hear from first Liz and then Harry. One thing, if you were not at the earlier forums, we ask you to please hold your applause till the end. I'll give you a chance, but we want to keep things moving tonight, and we'll hold applause, please. With that, Liz, you see our timers up front. They will give you a warning when you have 30 seconds remaining, and then when time is up, they will ask you to stop, and I'll start to cut you off. So with that, let me introduce to you Liz Soto, candidate for the Moorpark Unified School District.
Good evening, Moorpark. My name is Liz Soto, and I want to thank everyone who's here attending and also who's viewing this currently. I want to thank the Chamber and the League of Women Voters also for hosting this event. I have lived in Moorpark since 1986, and I am excited to be running for school board. I am running because I want to bring a mother's perspective of having my two sons attend schools here in Moorpark. I also want to bring my firsthand experience of having a child who struggled in a traditional school setting. I will also bring my 30-plus years of professional experience in education, overseeing multi-million-dollar budgets, from early childhood to institutions of higher education. I have been responsible for accounting and reporting how the dollars are spent. It is these skills and experience that I feel will be of most value to the board and to the parents and the students and the District of Moorpark. I will work on financial accountability and transparency of the district's budget, identifying what dollars are available, how they are spent, and ensure user-friendly reports that easily identify the expenditures. The parents, students, teachers, and staff deserve to be provided with clear reports, and in doing so will create greater trust between all parties and will make for better informed decisions on how money is allocated. I also want to prioritize school safety on and off campus. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Liz. And our next candidate is Harry Carbonati.
Good evening. My name is Harry Carbonati. I am the resident in Moorpark for 28 years. I was the original owner of West Coast Pizza, that's the one next to Bonds. I used to be there. I've coached and trained basketball over 26 years and spent 15 years coaching Moorpark girls and boys basketball. My two sons went through the school district, and I have an adopted daughter today at Gloria Academy. My wife, Kim, is a substitute teacher for our district for the last 16 years. I just retired in January after 36 years in the aerospace as a project manager. My experience and engineering background, strategic thinking, business experience, and maintaining the budgets that range in millions of dollars will give us the insight to work collaborative with all the others to find innovative methods on which to solve problems. Our teachers are the most valuable resources because they interact with our children every day. I will be someone who is approachable because I want our teachers to feel comfortable coming to me with their concerns, ideas, complaints, and anything they may need to discuss. I believe we must work hard to give them the necessary tools that will help them make their jobs fulfilling as possible. Our students learn best when our teachers and parents and community members work with the same sense of priorities. We must continue to reestablish the morale among the district employees. I am a strong supporter for having a high school that serves the needs of the at-risk students who are deficient in credits. These students need a constant face-to-face guidance, counseling, and classroom interaction. Being an advocate for these students will be one of my top priorities. A key issue for school boards is to create a long-term vision, mapping a course that provides the necessary opportunities students need to reach their full potential. The board is responsible for establishing and maintaining a structure that supports this vision. My effort as a board member would center on the serving of all children in the community. One child is no more important than another. We all have stakeholders, parents, and all the district personnel, certified, classified, and management, as well as students must be partners in endeavor if we are to be successful. I'm asking for your vote. Change will be good.
Stop there. Okay, thank you. But hold on to the microphone, Harry, because you're going to be up first on our first question here. So let's talk about school safety. It's on everyone's minds. Moorpark has traditionally done a wonderful job keeping students safe. However, in the ever-changing climate, how will you help district staff continue to keep kids safe at school? And I remind the timers, it's a minute and a half. The candidates, you have a minute and a half. So the question to you, Harry, school safety, what would you do?
Well, the first thing I'd be looking at is making sure that all the areas of the schools and the gates and the entrances and so on are established and there's someone there. and making sure that we have good communication between the school offices and the administration and the teachers to make sure that we're going through all the rules that have been applied and the training. I think training is very important from the teacher standpoint, all the way up to administration, and anywhere there's any support. And I feel that this would be a good way to start. But safety is created by training and knowledge.
Thank you. Liz, same question to you on school safety. What are your thoughts?
I think what's most important is the transparency, that all the parents and the students know what the plan is, and that the plan include everyone that is a staff member, including all the teachers and who's ever on the campus grounds, that they be trained, not only in terms of what happens in terms of an emergency, but also anti-bullying and anything that they may see occurring on the campus. Currently, California has passed for education and the schools that there's actually personnel on staff that can go ahead and put a restraining order if they see something that's happening. So a lot of times teachers are the first to know. Students could be the first to know that there's someone on campus that's having an issue. So I think that's important to explore also, and looking at what other districts are doing. Because the last thing that we want to hear is that something happened in our schools. So it only takes one experience, and we don't want that to be occurring.
Thank you. Liz, we'll start with you on the next question. And Moorpark has a history of academic success. So how are we staying, or how is the district staying competitive for college and university entry? That is, how are our students qualified to move in? Your thoughts about continuing that success rate? And as a board member, what will you do to help students just thrive overall academically?
Looking at the scorecard for our district, there's actually a good percentage of population of our students that are not prepared to go on to college or vocational school. 38% of our students are either English language learners or they're socioeconomic at a level where they're not being able to perform at a level that I feel is necessary. There's a lot of room for improvement there. In terms of college readiness, when I was working at Cal State Los Angeles, they had a summer bridge program where they basically would take the students, take them across California to a couple of universities to go and explore it. And this isn't at a junior level or a sophomore level. This is hitting them early at an elementary level. There's grants to be able to offer this, so that's something that our district wouldn't necessarily have to pay for. But that's one idea. I think the other idea that I would explore is mentorship. Having someone that you identify with, whether it's someone in a field that you think you want to be able to explore towards, I think is so important, besides just having something in front of you that you're looking at a computer and you're hoping and dreaming. So those are some of my ideas.
Thank you. Harry, we'll hear from you. Your thoughts about how to maintain the academic excellence in Moorpark.
Well, when I reviewed the numbers at the school and looked at the ranking, I found that the Moorpark is not ranked where I would thought it would be. Maybe the numbers look better in the other schools, but Moorpark needs to improve. And one of the areas to improve, we need to look at the vocational classes. We have an area that we can probably do many things with vocational. We bring aerospace companies, automotive, because you know what, not every student's going to graduate and go to University of Harvard. We've got to give them the choices. We have to listen to the students, what they feel that they require. We need to put good teachers in Moorpark High School. There are good ones, but we need to find the ones that can handle the math for the future. We have a future, and we have a future in math today that is, the jobs are out there. They need those types of students to handle that. Getting prepped to go to the universities to handle the math, and we need to give that skill. More science needs to be done at the high school level. But again, we need to put qualified and help those teachers in what their requirements they need.
Thank you. You can hold on to it, Harry. We'll start the next question with you. Do you have any plans about reducing classroom population, classroom size? Any thoughts about how to achieve that? Reducing classroom size.
No, Not really. I think the class size today is 20 to 1, basically, what I just saw. I think that it would be nice that we have it smaller for the children or the students that need special needs. We've got to continue doing that. I think we have to start looking at other avenues, maybe it's co-op for special ed, looking for the Conejo District, the Ventura District to work together and making those special eds, give them the opportunity for smaller classes and better teachers to come over and handle those special ed situations. At the high school, I think we're going to see a reduction in numbers of school students going there, but at the same time, I think we can look for replanting those teachers and putting them in the right places. I don't feel that we need to reduce anything right now. I think we go ahead with those numbers, and I think we can still get the funding that we require. I feel that sometimes we spend money that we shouldn't spend, and we should spend that money on the teachers.
Thank you. Liz, your thoughts about reducing classroom size? What are your plans?
Looking at the reports that are in the district, I do see that the early year grades have a smaller ratio in terms of teacher to students. So, but looking at the high school and their scores, and as Harry said, those scores surprised me also in terms of where they're at. And I think trying to go over where the funding might be available in order to try to reduce some of those classes, especially for the English language learners or those that are falling behind, is trying to see where the funding is so that if it's possible, either bring in maybe an additional teacher or figure out how to maybe look at the class sharing so that our students actually have more attention that is necessary to start to close the achievement gap.
Okay, thank you, Liz. We'll start with you on the next one. Let's just take a little bit of time to learn a little more about each of you. So, Liz, tell us about your background that you feel makes you, the background that you feel is perfectly relevant to being a school board member. What do you think, or what can you share with us from your past?
Well, I've worked at Cal State Northridge, Cal State Los Angeles, and I currently work as the controller for California Federation of Teachers. So I am around a lot of educators, not only from early childhood, but up through higher education. So I'm exposed to a lot of what goes into building curriculum, training for the teachers, and so forth. And what I have been providing for all these places of employment is basically being responsible for all the finances. So I know how to track, I know how to make sure that there's a report that shows how all the money is spent, and that gives you an opportunity to see if there's something that can be saved in order to allocate it to a place that has a greater need. So that is what I've been doing. I have my undergrad in business administration, and I have my MBA.
Thank you. Harry, same question to you. Tell us about your background that you find very relevant to being a school board member.
Well, spending so many years in the conference room with people that were either scientists or PhDs, especially working on special projects for all those years, is quite interesting. You learn a lot from them, but then they learned a lot from me, and I think that's why I accomplished what I had to as goals. Again, I feel that the goals and objectives of anything we do today should be put down, or should be put at the school level too. I just come from a background of working hard, and I come from an area that I went to school for many years to make my job work. I went to Long Beach State, and I graduated there, and then I went on to create my own business here at Moorpark, and at the same time I worked at Northrop and Raytheon, did all those things, and did a lot of great projects, and I learned a lot from the stress and the time and the schedule and the cost. I think those are important things, and I need to bring that information, what I've learned all those years, and the energy that I have, I can bring that over to this new avenue.
Okay, Harry, we'll start with you on the next question. Can you tell us about, well, in fact, we learned about this in the last forum from the city council candidates about a community pool. So many of them mentioned working with the school district on a community pool. So the question for you, Harry, is since there are no pools at any of the schools here in Moorpark, there's always been talk about a community pool. What would you do to either create a pool, fund maintenance of a pool? What are your thoughts about providing a pool for the community?
Well, I think That question's come to me about 100 times, so I'll answer it the way I feel what's important. I feel that we need to first worry about what's in front of us in the school district. I'm not saying that the pool is not important, but here it is. We do have a pool where the students go to near here, or down, I think at the bottom, whatever that gym is called down there, and they use that. We have to look at the cost. I know they broke it down and what it would be, but I don't have a pro or a con to that right now. I really feel that it's something that we need to look down the road if that's going to be important. But I think we have other issues to worry about at this time before we can make that hard decision. The good news is we do have a pool for the students to use, and I know some of the other schools that do have a pool, and I've talked to them. I know what it costs to do that, and I think we need to see if that's going to be favorable here. Again, we have to look at the numbers and what's coming to Moorpark. One important thing, we've done a great job with the athletic program here at Moorpark High School. We've created good programs, and by doing that, I think the pool will probably be the next thing, and it will be tabled quite a bit. But again, I have no pros or cons.
Thank you. Liz, please share with us your thoughts about a community pool.
I've also heard people talk about the pool, some pro, some con, and I would say that a feasibility study has to be done in terms of looking to see what that cost is. And if it's something that can work into the high school, not in terms of being on the ground, but in terms of helping to support the program, and it's something that can be afforded, then that would be a positive thing. But just speaking to some in the school, I heard a figure of $500,000 thrown around in terms of the annual upkeep. And if that takes dollars out of the classroom, that obviously is very much an issue. So that would have to be looked at. But again, I think a feasibility study would really help identify if that's even possible.
Okay, thank you, Liz. We'll start with you on the next question. The questioner states that Moorpark needs more students. So as a school board member, how would you help the district attract students from surrounding areas? And what would you do to retain the students who are already here?
I was actually at a board meeting where they talked about possibly, the district talked about possibly hiring a PR person, but there weren't firm numbers in terms of what that cost would be and how many students would have to be brought in order to cover that cost. So that's probably something that's going to continue to be explored. But in my opinion, it's being able to raise those scores in terms of where they are on English language arts and in math. And to be able to keep the students, I think, again, is giving them an avenue in order to be able to see what it is that they really want to achieve, whether it be more classes in math or being able to have an avenue to explore where they want to go as a major and whatnot, and that's how you try to keep them. I don't think you just let them leave without having a conversation and finding out why it is that they want to leave. And in terms of attracting, again, I think we have to build those scores up in order to attract more students. Even though the graduation rate is high, when you look at the detail, there's a lot of room for improvement.
Harry, same question to you about attracting more students and retaining the ones that you have.
This question, I understand, did come up at the board meeting about the PR person that they would like to hire for someone they would attract and take the time and bring more students or families to move to Moorpark. We know Moorpark's a great town to live in, and I think that's the easiest part to sell. The problem is you have to sell some other thing called a school. Moorpark High School would be the first one, because if I were to move here, I'd be looking at the high school and be trying to find out what attracts it. What is the one thing that they have the other schools don't have? We are missing some ingredients in those areas. For instance, we don't have an anatomy class. I know back at Westlake, they do have anatomy. They attract a lot of students to go there from everywhere. So we need to start looking more of those vocational classes. And I feel that this is important, because I think before we get a PR person to go out there, they have to have some kind of support. And that support is having some kind of an attraction to bring those students to the school, and really it brings the families to the school.
we'll start the next question with you. And parents always think about test scores. It's one of the ways that schools are measured across the state. So, Harry, do you think that the most important measurement of students is the test score, or do you think other things are more important?
Well, I feel that the test scores are important. Again, going to the AP testing and all the way across the board, and those numbers are lower here. But we have to look at the climate that we live in. We have to look at the way we treat our students and what we do to be successful. We are a diversified town, and we understand that we have to sometimes look at what we have to give the special needs or the students that have they're just at risk students that just need help. And we've got to find a way to make those grades go up. Well, we've got to take the time. One thing I learned around here is that when someone's not successful or they're failing in school, they walk away from it. I'm tired of that. I think it's time to start looking at these students and trying to give them the help we got. But you know what's interesting is that we have all the facilities to do that, but we don't have the right direction from the top. And I think it's time that we need to make that direction and start looking at those students.
Thank you. Same question to you, Liz. Do you believe that test scores are the most important measurement of students, or what do you believe?
I do not believe that they're the most important measurement of students, especially those students that are at risk, the students that are English learners. Looking at how they're progressing is beyond just what they score. And that is where the teacher comes in, because they can see what the progress is from one semester over another semester. So they know when they're bringing someone out of the shell or they're saving someone that is at risk in order to leave school. So it goes beyond that. And I think this is something that probably involves definitely the educators. They can say what goes into finding how someone is growing beyond what they're just being tested at.
Thank you. We'll stay with you, Liz, for the next question. We have a couple of questions around this issue. So, what is the reason the community high school went away? As best you can answer that. How are those students being handled? But also, the point made by one of the questioners is that high school, community high school, served our most vulnerable students, and it's no longer an option. So, do you have ideas to help those students succeed?
My understanding on why that high school went away is because of the cost and the number of students that were attending. So it wasn't in the best interest of the district in terms of the resources that were being allocated there to keep the high school open. So they moved it internally into the current high school, and they're basically working with those students from more in terms of online and trying to help them and whatnot. So I would say, personally, I don't know if online always works. Sometimes I feel students, and I was a student not that long ago, having an instructor in front of you or having someone that shows that they're empathetic and they're caring and they want to help you out is so important, especially for someone at such a young age. So that's my understanding, and that's where I am.
Thank you. Harry, your thoughts about why community high school went away and what you would do to serve that population of students so that they can still succeed?
Well, I've heard quite a bit about just recently that there is no longer a community, if you want to call that, for the at-risk students at Moorpark. Originally, they came from community high school down the street here. The way I look at it, again, I've talked about this before, is that the face-to-face guidance for children, even at the risk students, they need this type of guidance. They need that support. Having a computer in front of you and taking a test or studying from there is not the answer. If that's the way our future is going to be, then we've got bigger problems than that. We need to figure out what we can do to help these students and put them in the right direction and give them the counseling that they require. I believe vocational classes are like a lot of these students I talk to that love to have a mechanical class, meaning like they want to work on cars, and you see a lot of success to that. So we need to continue to look at those avenues. But I think we need to take those students, and if you take the past, and if you asked all those students that graduated years ago, you'd be surprised to find out thank you, I went to community high school. It really made a difference in their lives. This is something we have to remember. What makes a difference? So,
Thank you. Okay, Harry, we're going to start the next question with you. If the two of you have probably been out walking precincts, I imagine you've heard from parents, especially ones for the first time having a student in the district, that they would like to see the effective communications. They want to see information given out in more ways so that the parents can understand how to handle things such as math pathways and honors criteria. Some of this is posted on the website, but parents still feel that they need to see improvement in the communications. So what are your thoughts about improving communications between parents and the school districts?
well, you know, again, that visibility is always, we have the social media, we have their website at Moorpark High School, who sometimes I think it needs to improve. They change it too much, but there's got to be they've got to stay in one direction and getting that information out to the parents. Parents are looking for what's happening today and what's going to happen tomorrow. Again, they need to see that, and I think that's the simplest way to put that out there, that vision. Students need to have some kind of rapport with not only with the teachers, but the administration, and make sure that they have the information to give to their parents if they have to. All of this is there for them. Thank God we live in a small community, and that makes a big difference. So I see that that's a tool that we can use, and I think we can continue going in that direction.
Thank you. Liz, your thoughts about improving communication between parents and schools?
Well, I don't know if the parents have been surveyed in terms of what kind of avenues that they would like to see beyond what currently exists. But maybe they want to be emailed. Maybe they want something to be coming home with their child in terms of being able to look through it. But I think I would recommend surveying parents, or at least trying to survey a specific number in order to find out what else they would like to see beyond what currently exists.
Thank you. Liz, we'll start with you on the next question. Years ago, I believe there was a serious financial problem in the Moorpark Unified School District, and several people are asking what checks and balances do you think should be in place? What is your background with finance that will make you a careful custodian of the people's money?
Well, this is right up my alley, because this is what I do. This is what I do daily, and this is what I've been doing for the last 30 years. So I love numbers, and when you are responsible for having to ensure the fiscal viability of any organization and looking at the district, number one, what's most important is that you're hiring the right person. And I think there may have been something that fell through on why that occurred in the past. And number two, someone that's at the helm of being responsible for the numbers, they know what the checks are and the balances are. There's no doubt about it. Numbers are black and white. They're not gray. So you know how to build those safeguards. I would recommend, though, that since that error occurred, that someone responsible at the very top go through and figure out why that occurred, and you make sure that you build in those safeguards so that it never occurs again. So errors do happen, but if you're not going back and you're fixing it so it doesn't happen, then you're not really moving forward.
Thank you. Harry, same question to you about checks and balances to avoid financial problems, and what in your background makes you well suited for the position?
For many years of working in the aerospace business, for some reason I always ended up with a program that was over cost. And they always came to me to figure out how to bring the cost back to where we were budgeted and what numbers I needed to work to. I was pretty successful doing that, and I had to do that with a team of good employees and making that happen. And my knowledge and under those crises really does help. I think when you have to look at the school district, the way they run their funding and how they do things, it shouldn't be that difficult to understand where the money goes and who gets paid and where we send that money out and so on. I went through the list of fundings between sports and education and books and so on, and I can see that there's improvement that can be done. It's a serious matter, and I think it's one of those matters that we need to be very good at this job if we take this job on. is trying to make sure this budget stays in line. We all know it's very difficult to get funding from the state, but again, we can do that here. We have the community, we have the parents, and we have the students, and we have the teachers. And our administration needs to give us that opportunity to make this thing work. So I believe that we can do many things with maintaining our budget here at Moorpark.
Thank you. We are going to try and wrap up by 8 p.m., so I want to thank the candidates for answering those questions. We're going to hear their closing statements in just a moment, but before we do, I want to acknowledge the volunteers who made tonight so successful. Up front, we have Kathy and Bill, who have been doing the timing for us. We had from the League, Doris, Maddie, Carol, Pat Butler, Pat Essick, and Cheryl. And how about a round of applause for all of our volunteers? We're going to do the closing statements in the reverse order. Liz went first, so this time Harry's going to go first. Harry, remind you that you have 2 minutes for your closing statement. Timers, we have 2 minutes. And we'll go ahead and begin with Harry.
Well, what I bring to the school board and what I bring to the community is I'm a retired aerospace worker, and I basically have a lot of energy. So my energy is going to be going out there and talking to the teachers and representing those teachers in any way they can. Today, the teachers feel that they are divided with their own school administration and their own school, not their school administration, but everyone except for the teachers, that they work together. We need to continue to see if we can get this division solved. I bring this energy, and I know that I can do this on a daily basis and be there to help them. It's not easy to be a teacher. It's not even easy to be even some of the administrators. They need help, and we got to be there to help them, and that's what the school board should represent. Representing them and representing the school administration and working together. I'm tired of this division between both of them. When they're trying to do a bargaining to get a raise these days, it seems to be so difficult for the teachers to get what they want. They need to have a better bargaining table, and the school needs to look at that. So I bring a lot of experience from all of those, from the aerospace business and owning my own business. It was very successful when we owned that restaurant. But I feel that I was not a teacher in this realm. I was a teacher of training basketball players. Yes, I still continue to coach basketball. I've been successful in that for many years. And you have to have some kind of an idea how to do that. You have to know how to talk to students, and you need to be able to go back to the parents and tell them what they're doing. You know, the most important thing is, I have not seen this at the school at all. When someone does something really good, you should give them a pat on the back. And I don't see that very much around this school district. And I think that's what we came from where I worked at. I always went around the plant and told people, hey, you know what a good job you did today. They love that. We need to get that out, that message to them. And we need to get that message out to all the other support groups.
Thank you, Harry. And our next candidate is Liz Soto, 2 minutes.
Having raised 2 sons and steering them both to earn their college degrees, I now want to play an integral role in the education of your children, the students who attend Moorpark Unified School District. I want to be the next mom on the school board. I will be a new voice and an experienced voice. As a first-generation college graduate, I know the value of earning a college degree and how it changes one's life and the community, all for the better. I know the measure of a good education in Moorpark Unified. It is how well prepared the student is to go on to college or to go on to vocational school. Every student deserves a high-quality education, a chance to succeed in an environment that helps them reach their full potential. It is a fact that teaching conditions affect student outcomes. To attract the best and keep the best teachers, dollars must be allocated where they have the greatest impact to improve student outcomes. Educational resources should be spent efficiently and effectively, putting students first. I will promise to put all my efforts to school safety, a transparent and accountable district budget that is user-friendly, and to improving teacher conditions. I will work collaboratively with the city to ensure that our public resources are available to the students and community. They say a mother's work is never done, and I'm not done. I want to work for you and for our schools. I need your support and your vote on November 6th. And I ask you to check Liz Soto next to school board on that day. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a quick announcement, but first, have a round of applause for these two candidates. So on November 6th, there are 4 candidates running total for the Moorpark Unified School District. You'll be voting for 2. As I said earlier, 2 of our candidates were unable to be here. And with that, thank you very much, and let me introduce Bruce Rokos from the Chamber of Commerce to take it away.
All right, well, first of all, thank you all for making the investment in our community this evening and coming out. It is you, the citizens of our great town, that we truly appreciate you for being out here and being part of this. And 2 amazing candidates, we appreciate you coming out and putting forth your efforts for our city and doing the right thing. We have a few amazing people in the room. Ken Razor is of Moorpark High Street Arts Center. Thank you for running the show here today. Ventura County Sheriff's Department, thank you for being present. And we have 2 wonderful volunteers and timers. But I better not forget Valeria, the staff person of the, I just elevated you to chairman. How about that? How do you like that, Dale Parvin?
I'm happy for that.
President and CEO of our chamber. Thank you. Bill Gomez of State Farm, thank you very much. And don't look away, Kathy Wiley of the Moorpark Women's Fortnightly. Thank you both for that. Thank you all for attending. David Marin and the League of Women Voters, thank you. Watch for it on the video and go vote and have a great evening. Good night.